Rocket fire from Gaza and IAF retaliations continue. Palestinian teen's autopsy report gives insight into his death. Tensions spread following burial of murdered teen. And relative of slain teen allegedly beaten by Israeli security. Shalom and welcome to the Jerusalem Post News. Here are your headlines for Sunday, July 6th. Israeli warplanes struck rocket launching targets in the Gaza Strip before dawn this morning. According to the IDF spokesperson's unit, IAF aircrafts hit 10 targets in central and southern Gaza. Palestinians in Gaza fired Grad rockets at Beersheva and Ashkelon on Saturday evening, escalating their ongoing attacks on the south. Iron Dome anti-rocket batteries intercepted one rocket from Gaza over Beersheva for the first time since Israel clashed with Hamas in November 2012, and soon afterward, 3 more rockets were intercepted over Ashkelon. Several additional rockets hit open areas in the Sha'ar HaNegev and Ashkelon regions. Initial autopsy findings from the body of the teenager who Palestinians believe was kidnapped and killed by far-right Jews showed that he was burned alive. In a dramatic development in the investigation, it was reported this morning that suspects in the murder have been arrested. However, no further details have been released. Israeli-Palestinian tensions have risen sharply after 3 Israeli teens were kidnapped on June 12th and later found dead in the West Bank. The funeral of the Israeli teens was closely followed last Wednesday by the kidnapping of 16-year-old Mohammed Abu Kudair in his neighborhood in East Jerusalem, which was captured on CCTV footage. His body was found hours later in a forest on the edge of the city. The autopsy report concluded that burns covered 90% of the surface of his body. However, the motive of the killing remains unknown. The boy was laid to rest on Friday at a funeral procession that attracted thousands of mourners. Amid raging protests throughout Israel and the West Bank following the death of the Palestinian teen, Prime Minister Netanyahu at the weekly cabinet meeting this morning condemned the ongoing violence.
אין מקום במדינת ישראל ליידוי אבנים על שוטרים, אין מקום לזריקת בקבוקי תבערה, אין מקום לחסימת צירים או השמדת רכוש, אין מקום להסתות נגד עצם קיומה של מדינת ישראל.
Clashes between Palestinian protesters and Israeli police spread to Arab-populated towns within Israel following the burial of the Palestinian teen believed to have been killed in a revenge killing. With tensions further inflamed by Israeli restrictions on Muslim access to Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque complex during the Ramadan fasting month, protesters threw stones at police who drove them back with stun grenades and tear gas. Riots continued in the West Bank as well as in Arab-Israeli villages throughout the weekend. According to Palestinian media reports, the American cousin of the teen who was murdered on Wednesday was allegedly beaten and detained by Israeli security forces and was released this morning. 15-year-old Tariq Abu Kudair, the cousin of Mohammed Abu Kudair, who was murdered on Wednesday, was supposedly visiting from Tampa, Florida. A video being circulated by human rights groups allegedly shows 2 Israeli police officers kicking and beating the high school student, and Palestinian media published photos depicting a boy with a badly bruised face, whom they claim is Kudair. The U.S. State Department said in a statement on Saturday that they are calling for a speedy, transparent, and credible investigation and full accountability for any excessive use of force. That's all for today. We'll be back tomorrow with more headlines. Until then, shalom and goodbye from the Jerusalem Post studio.